Hello everybody, I'm Lindsay from the Vintage Button and I make things from old things, junk journal, slow stitch. I'm junk journaling today. What I'm doing is I'm making a junk journal, a book out of a leaflet or a booklet. So I have these booklets and I have quite a lot of them. I don't know where I acquired them from. I don't actually think they're particularly old. I think they're meant to look old. And it's like a club roll call book. So it's got like a little down for every week of a year, and 54 names. It's like so it's kind of got ledger paper in, and this is what I want to do. This is my junk journal July book, and I had a tea card book that looks something like not that. The wrong orientation, Lindsay. Something like this. So this is from the same series and it's a booklet. So what I did was I changed the width and I actually gave it an extra signature with extra papers to create a book. So there we go. So that's what we're going to do, because I find these when I'm out and about looking for old paper, I find them and I'm really intrigued by them, and I didn't know what to do with them, and I'd literally been collecting them for years. How long? When was the first time? First time we went to this antiques place was just before the pandemic. So that's how long I've been looking at old bits of paper. Didn't really know junk journaling as such until the pandemic, but I was always been intrigued. I've always liked old things. I could tell you tales, and as we probably get in, I might tell you some tales about me finding old bits of paper in the 80s and making things. So there you go. This is what we're aiming for, and I'm going to do it on these books because I thought it might have been a fluke that I managed to do it on that one. Let's do it again. I mean, it's probably not good to experiment while you guys are here. I probably should have made 2 or 3 of them, but I thought, well, it's about the thought process and what I could remember that I did. Okay, so I've got a template for how thick I want my spine to be. So, because this is quite poofy, but it's not quite poofy because I've not really pressed it down. So it's not going to be a gator mouth really, and it's got a paper clip in it. So I think I want the spine to be that big. It's going to be a bit wider anyway because of how I plan to make it. But I want to make a hard spine. So we're using this bit of paper. That's just from my stash. As I'm processing books, everything I make, I don't use anything that's mass produced other than like actual stamps and ink. So I sort of keep everything. So like the scraps off the sides of a piece of paper in a book, I will keep them. They're very useful, I've found, for stamping on, for making little things. Actually, since I've started the YouTube channel, they've been really useful for helping with the thumbnails, because I could go on Canva, I've said this before, but I spend all day looking at a computer screen. And unbelievably, starting this YouTube channel is in an effort not to look at a computer screen. It kind of gives me permission to craft every day, but it does mean that some of the things I do are very low tech. But that's okay, because like I said, I spend all day staring at a computer screen. I feel quite privileged that I get a job where I work from home, staring at a computer screen. But nevertheless, that is what I do. Okay, so we've got 2 thick. Do we want it 2 or do we want it 3? You can tell my cutting's not fantastic, but that's alright because it'll all get... Let's do 3 of them. And we'll trim it down more as we glue it together. So we're just going to use quick glue today. Put my drink out of the way. Okay. How are you all? I hope you're alright. I think this is going to be a bit of a long video. So, you know, kind of buckle up. We'll get to know each other a little bit better. I was going to do like lots of examples, and I thought it might actually be better just to see how my process works. And I think if I've got a mixture of videos of varying lengths and topics, because actually, I mean, I do a lot of junk journaling, but my slow stitching videos, I only do one a week currently, although I've got plans for a Christmas wreath. I'm going to do an autumn paper wreath soon, we'll start that, and a Christmas slow stitch wreath. And then next year we'll reverse it. But yeah, I found that the slow stitch ones, which are generally longer videos, they actually get more views and more engagement than the junk journal videos. So I don't know if that's because slow stitch is slowly becoming a thing. Excuse the pun. I don't know if that's the reason. I'm not exacting any of this. So as you're printing, you're probably thinking, that looks like it's very wobbly. Yes, it is, probably. But it'll work out. So yeah, the slow stitch stuff seems to be more popular. Which is okay. Because I love slow stitching. Slow stitching is my original craft. Like, as in from being a child. Original craft. Right, we've got 3 layers of chipboard or cereal packet. Because I'm all about the recycling. And that's the spine of our book. So we're going to start gluing this spine together. Really simply. And we're going to do the inside first, because then I'm going to sew it. And then we're going to do the outside. So there is a bit of a gap, intentionally. Now we need to get some material. So I chose this material. It's lovely and soft, and it's from my sewing stash. And I think I bought it either to make something for my daughter or for me to make a skirt. But then I started snipping into it, and I am a lot bigger than probably when I bought this material. I should have got my fabric scissors out, but I haven't, so we're going to have to make do with IKEA's best. So it's probably a bit bigger than what we need initially. We're going to get two pieces of material to bind this journal, and I will trim it down when I get close. So yeah, this is, I mean, I've fixed books before, and I've made books that have narrow, kind of given them extra width. So I guess it's the same. This can be actually quite wide. Yeah, I want this to be quite wide. It's on the inside. It's very pretty. It's a William Morris design that's been sort of, the colours have been changed because the colours are quite fresh and modern. But the pattern isn't. I like the arts and craft movement. So the house that I live in is an Edwardian house, which probably, if we could take all the nice features have been ripped out of it but I bet there would have been arts and craft elements into this in this house. But they've all gone now. That's okay. That's one of the reasons we got it cheaper. So I'm not complaining. Otherwise it would have been very hard to buy a house. Especially in this area. It doesn't mean we can't put some of it back. I do intend to do that. Even if it's just with the colours we paint on the walls. Okay, so that's kind of generally how I want it to be. And for this bit, I'm not going to glue the fabric. I'm going to glue the paper. Not using that glue because it's nearly empty. Using this, and like I said, I'm using Fabri-Tac. This is Colol, which is basically Fabri-Tac glue. It's like a European version of it. Now, I wouldn't necessarily use this glue. I might do actually because this is quite thin. If it was on an actual like book, if I was doing this like on 2 bookends, I would probably just use PVA if I'm honest. Because it's cheaper, it's just as sturdy, it just takes a long time to dry. And it will warp like a thinner paper. But that's alright. I actually don't mind a bit of warpage. It's all part of the journey as far as I'm concerned. But different people have different notions, so about right? Is that about right? I think so. Let's move it down a bit. No, it's moved down too much. Oh, I don't know. It's probably going to go all Pete Tong. There we go. So it kind of looks like that. Let's do this way then you can see what I'm doing. So I want it it's like 1.5 centimeters. This is a centimetre grid. I know a lot of you probably, because I've looked at my analytics, a lot of you in the States and you do inches, and Britain is a funny place because there are some things that we use imperial measurements for, and then there's other things we use metric, and it's all about like when we enter the EU. So I think in metric measurements for like length, and I think in metric measurements for weight if you were baking or buying something. This is how random it is. I also think in metric measurements for, what's the other thing? Liquids and temperature. Okay. The only thing I don't think in metric measurements for in liquids is alcohol and milk. There you go. It's weird. And it's how you were brought up as well. I definitely think it's how you were brought up as well. But because my parents were very much imperial measurements. So like weight for baking is, like I said, that's definitely in grams because that's how I was taught at school. Even though I was taught in imperial measurements at home, I probably did a lot more cooking at home. But I don't know, it's just stuck with me because that's what we were taught in school. And then like physical weight of myself and others, like when my daughter was born, she was 7 pounds 9. They didn't even tell me what she was in kilograms. They just told me she was 7 pounds 9, and I kind of got what 7 pounds 9 meant. It's like half a stone, a bit more than half a stone. And then like measuring my own weight has always been in stones and ounces. So yeah. Oh, stones and pounds and ounces. Because it goes ounces, pounds and stones, doesn't it? So that's a little bit of random Britishness. If you're British, Let us know if you're the same. You see, it might be my age as well. Because I bet if you talk to my sister, who's 8 years younger, she'll probably just be all metric. But it's because I'm a bit of a crossover. See, I'm 50 years old. I was born in the 70s and educated in the 80s. And I think that it might be that I was this crossover. Okay, we're going to put that to one side. Put it up there. Right, it dries a little bit. It won't take long to dry. It's almost instant, that ink. But we'll think about our papers. So I've done a mixture of papers. And they're here, and I've sort of paper clipped them together. We can go through them. So I've got some of my, which way do I want it? I think I want it like that. I've got some of my gardening book. I've got a really thick gardening book, and the paperweight is really nice. It'll hold paint. When you're choosing your papers, you need a heavier weight paper, like dictionary paper and some music paper. Looks beautiful, but you won't be able to do anything to it. You won't stick anything in. I still make that mistake now because I'll go for what looks pretty, but I'm trying to learn my lesson, so I'm going for heavier weight paper. So this has got a nice heavy weight to it. It'll hold the paint well. This is a bit of a more modern paper. It's still quite old. I still think it's 30 years old, but it's just sort of got a lighter colour to it. It's not got the age marks that this one has. And again, it's quite heavy. I've got some French paper for a children's book. I think it was Little Women. This is out of an art book. Again, the weight is really heavy, and I quite like that dark. It kind of... This is a really old paper. So this is a Victorian children's book, and I've had to reinforce it because the spine was quite brittle. So I've reinforced it with some younger paper. I actually think it's probably still about 50 years old, but it's young, it's not brittle. I'll be able to put a needle through it. Then we've got the newish paper from that. I do have some music paper, but it's a thicker paper. And then this is an image that's from a 1970s flower arranging book that's got matte photographs, and it's really nice paper again. That'll hold paint. And it's just the same on the other side actually, but let's turn it all the right way. So we've got those two. I've got my little strip. So we're going to plan out. This is how I plan out. I don't like measuring. so we don't measure. So that's my centre. And I want my signatures to sort of be separated at the centre because it'll help the book to lie flat. Let's get where's the Junk Journal July one? Let me fold it first. So I've sort of folded it into an M. When I unfold it, you'll see what I mean. So it looks like an M or a W, depending on which way you look at it. And then you get 3 lines. You get a centre line and a line that's equally distanced. You've got can't talk, have spent all day talking. Equally distanced from that middle line. It's kind of got the same distance. That's where our signatures are going to be. And if you look on this, that's roughly how that is too. And when you sort of go down the middle, so you lay the book flat, it lays nice and flat. There's not too much in it. I could have put a third signature in, but then it wouldn't have laid flat. And that's, you know, you don't enjoy the book when it doesn't work like a book. So that's why I don't overstuff my books, so that it actually works as a book. So there you go. Nice gap. This is the way I do it. If you don't do it that way, that's absolutely fine. So then I want my hole to be in the centre, so I'm going to fold this in half again, and then I generally make my mind up where I want that first and third hole to be, and I fold it down again. Then I need to find a pen so that you can see where the holes are. So the hole is here, here, here. Here we go. 6 holes for 2 signatures. We're going to use, this is just cooking twine, but it's very strong and it's stretched as well, so it's not going to hurt it at all. I'm going to double it up because I just like things to be doubled up. We'll see how we go with that. Have I got a needle? I did see a needle floating around. So this is a darning needle. It's actually got a bit of rust on it. I get my darning needles when I get my slow stitch stuff mainly. I have bought darning needle kits online. You can get them readily online. But I must admit, because like I recently, if you can find it on my channel, I found a sewing cabinet with like an entire lifetime's worth of sewing kit in it, and I found darning needles in there. In fact, I found plenty of darning needles in there, let alone the lovely lady whoever had the sewing kit. Okay, do we need to make a hole? So we've got that thread. Let's get rid of this for now. We've got our plan. We've got them sort of ready. Let's bring back the journal. Okay. We want it to be halfway, don't we? There's going to be a bit of measuring. Oh, it's 10 centimetres. How helpful is that? That's really helpful. I've got a ruler. I do have a ruler. So 10 centimetres is, in old money as we call it, is 4 inches. So we're going to go 2 inches down for the centre. That is roughly the centre. Measure it again. Measure twice and all that. Let's do it that way, Lindsay. Don't have the depth of field. Yeah. I've got that. So I do have a crocodile, and if I was gonna use ribbon to sew in my signatures, I would use my crocodile. Otherwise, I just use this, which is an awl, and it will stick into my mat underneath, but that's what it's there for. It is a cutting mat. Do that one. So it's after work. My husband has gone to the supermarket because we are both absolute idiots. So yesterday, basically I have endometriosis and I had a pain flare all last week. I was in pain. But I sort of soldier through, and then when the pain flare ends, I generally get like exhaustion. So, and I even had a day off YouTube because of it. I just sort of like can't really function very well. So it was a good job it was bank holiday. So yesterday it was a bank holiday Monday, and we kind of like sort of ate out the fridge, and we had takeaway one one evening, which we kind of treat on high days and holidays and stuff like that. So we had our takeaway, and I'm just sort of burnishing that down. Yesterday I thought, well, I'll cook a roast dinner. So I did. I cooked a roast dinner, like a Sunday, British Sunday roast dinner. And I left the potatoes and the veg in one thing, on like a roasting dish on the top of the cooker. And I left the chicken on a roasting dish. And I ended up going to bed like at 9 o'clock. And so I forgot to say to my husband, can you put all that stuff in the fridge? And he didn't see it, so it didn't go in the fridge. And normally a roast dinner does you too. That's why I like doing it on a Sunday, because you always get 2 meals out of it. Well, we do in our house because there's only 3 of us. So that's the holes done. Woke up this morning, went down, fed the cat, and then noticed all Sunday dinner stuff, or Monday Sunday dinner stuff was out. So all that to go in the bin. The veg probably would have been alright, but I just thought, well, we're putting it all in the bin now. I'm only measuring it because you guys are here. If it was just me, if I'm really honest, I probably wouldn't measure it. But, you know, c'est la vie. So we're going to take that same paper that we had before to do the holes, and we're just going to put one edge of it, obviously, because we're only doing one set of holes in the signature. Into the signature there, ready to make a hole. Make sure. Again, I've said this, I've said it a few times, and it's probably because I'm relatively new at doing this, but it's kind of like doing things underneath, upside down. I hope you can't hear it. It was bin day today, so everybody's bringing their wheelie bins back. All the bins are stored at the car park at the back of our house. So we've got the car park. Most terraced houses in Britain have either got what's called backs, like a service road, or they've got an actual car park that wasn't a car park. It was where like all the latrines and wash houses and gubbins were way back in the day when the houses were built. But it's quite nice because it's enough room for a garage and a car park. Not complaining. Right, let's do the other one while we've got the thing out. So we're fiddling around. Now that's not matte paper, but what I would do with that is I would get some sandpaper and sort of roughly go over it if I wanted to do anything, or I would just stick things on with that Fabri-Tac glue actually. We want it to be about there. Yes, I hope you've all had nice days. It's just really busy, my day. Has that slipped? Yeah, that's a little bit. You might be able to hear people noise as well, because we all live at quite close proximity to one another in our little terraced houses. Which is alright. It's alright. Okay. go. Right then, I think we decided this was the front one. Or I decided that. I don't know if you decided that. But I did. So, where's the front of our book? That was it. I thought I'd done it wrong then. I was like, oh, done it wrong. I haven't done it wrong. Just move you out of the way. Okay, so we can line up our things to the holes. I'm going to go in now. I think I said when I did my, where is that little book, when I did my flip through of this book, so this is when I bind things with ribbon, particularly this organza ribbon's really nice because it squishes up and it doesn't affect the pages. But because I want, if you want like a tie front going through the back, I don't want a tie front on this, so I'm going to go in through the middle. I will make one of the other books, so if you've never made a journal before, don't worry about it. We'll do it again. So let's just attach that to that. I should have measured my thread out, and I normally do, but I just figured that was one thing I didn't have to think about. But normally if you go about 3 times the sort of length of there, if you're not worried about it like me, because I've got bajillions of that thread and I don't really know where I got it from, so that means I've not bought it, or I've bought it from a charity shop, or it's come in a lot of other things. I just acquire stuff. I don't even know how half the time. I didn't really explain what I was doing. I will with the next one. But you've probably seen this before, haven't you? It's difficult to get back through. But I went through the middle, then I went down, and then I went across. We'll do it again another time. Now I pull it tight, but I don't pull it too tight. You know, I don't try and warp the pages or anything. I think this will be a nice little journal. So that means I'll have 3 journals on the go. That's alright. In fact, I've got more than that because I've got that book one I've not worked in. And a magazine one. I've never had as many journals on the go. Normally, I just like, I make a journal. Or I mass make a load of journals and then they get put in a box. And then I think I should sell them if they go to a craft fair. Or I let's get more. You know, I just make a journal and then I use that journal and then I make another journal. I don't normally do this sort of make a few journals at a time, but I figure that there are lots of ways I can talk about what I do by using multiple journals. Basically, that's why I did it. So that should be more than plenty. And it's overkill really to double up the thread, but that's just me. That's how I thread my needle. Even when I'm slow stitching, that's how I thread my needle. Okay, next bit. I'm liking it. Oh yeah, that'll be nice. If you were doing a floating spine, I don't really do floating spines, but that is basically what you do, is you sew it onto a piece of cardboard with like the sides to it, and then that gets sewn into your journal. So this is the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Concentrate, Lindsay. Gonna go in through the center in the middle, like I said, if you want to reverse this so that you've got a tie for your journal, do that and just make sure you've got enough to be a tie. So we're going in through the middle. We're going to come out and we're going to go up. So up, and you can up and through all the way down. In. It's the easiest one. I know there's, do you know, I've tried, I think I have done the 5 one, but I just didn't enjoy doing it. And I'm a great believer that, like, I enjoy making the books, but like doing the funny stitches is neither here nor there. It's just a very functional thing. So then once you've gone all the way down, you're going to go back through the center. Careful not to sort of go into your thread. And you want to move the middle long stitch to one side. You can use your mat to push it through, or a thimble. We might make a leather thimble. That's one of the things we're going to do with slow stitching. Before I start that Christmas project, we should make a leather thimble. There we go. Stitch now. Pull it to finagle it so that all the stitches are taut. I need a drink of water. Taut or tight, but not, you're not warping the page, which would be difficult to do because the card, the chipboard spine we made is quite thick, but yeah, you're not warping the page. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. There we go. Oh, this is going to be cute. It's going to be cute. Let's move that out of the way. Just do a bit of a tidy. There we go. We're not finished yet. We're going to put the outside bit on. But it's all nicely signatured in. It will lie flat, which I like. And you kind of have to like squidge it and train the bits of paper to lie down, which it will eventually. It's already lying a lot flatter. And you can see there is a bit of growth to it. There's room to grow. I do like that. That's very cute. Okay, let's get that material back. What did I do though with that material? $64 million question. What did I do with it? Oh, it's there. So I think what I'll do is I'll make the other ones up. I won't want the same again. I'll make them up and I'll add them to the stash of stuff that needs to go on Etsy. So I'm running a giveaway for an advent calendar that's got lots of bits and pieces in it. That's junk journal and slow stitch. And the advent calendar for the giveaway is made from a Victorian children's book. In fact, some of the pages are there in this book. I rescued that from a skip. And it literally, the back cover was detached. It was beyond. And it had some quite racist tropes in it as well. I like read it and thought, we won't use that page in anything that's very, very visible. Yeah. one thing to be aware of. Just not like anything that's offensive. We used to think offensive things. We still do think offensive things. Don't get too hung up about it, but you know, just have something to be mindful of. Okay, let's move that out of the way, Lindsay. So we've got our book. Now I don't want, because I quite like that business. So do I want it covered up or not at all? Actually, that's all right. Don't worry about that. It's overlap. We can trim that. Everything can be trimmed. And I've got an idea to strengthen it that we'll talk about in a minute. Do we like that? I think we do. I think we do. So we're just going to go in with our glue. If I wanted to make it a real hidden spine, I would put another piece of card over the top of this. I'm not going to do that today because this is just for me, but perhaps the ones that I make for the Etsy shop will have like another piece of card. Although I quite like, we'll see how it, because it might be nice to see the stitches through. I don't know. I don't know. Dunny Ken, as they said in Scotland. It's getting warm again. I thought like it felt really autumnal over the weekend, and I was actually not that sad about it. I'm not made for the warm weather. My husband, who's South African, very much is. So yeah, and my daughter's not. She's another sort of very of a Northern Europe heritage. We're both like, yay, it's gonna be autumn. He's not happy with us. So, but it looks like it's all going to build up again before it has a last hurrah. Well, I'm not sad about that actually. Look at that. Somebody's having a bit of a cry outside. It's that witching hour. I used to hate that sort of... Lily used to go to bed at 7 o'clock, and I used to hate that as 6 o'clock approached. It's like, oh, it's just going to be horrible for the next hour. And it generally was. Until I found the genius trick, which probably is not very good parenting. We have something called CBeebies, which is like state television, like the preschool or is it kindergarten, or is kindergarten reception class? I can't work it out. Anyway, sort of like toddlers and up until they go to school, or key stage 1, probably key stage 1, yeah. And they used to have this bedtime story, and then it says like, and CBeebies is going to sleep, and I used to say to Lily, and now the Queen says you have to go to sleep, Lily. And that used to work when she got older. She could understand a little bit more. I'm like, no, CBeebies has gone off, so the Queen says you've got to go to sleep. I'm going to use a bit of my, and it used to work. I don't think it's going to work for the little man outside somehow. But he's not old enough yet. He's only, I don't know if you can hear him. He's got his grandma looking after him. It's very sweet. Oh, I might actually need a new tip on this pen. That's one of my not Posca pens. Just to colour the ending. Definitely both of them I need a new tip for. Flipping out, I'll just bin them, I think. Should I? I don't even know if I've got any tips. The Posca pens are the way. They are very much worth it. I think I got them in a Secret Santa. Or I might have bought them myself after Christmas, I can't remember. But I got some tax back when I just started the channel, so I decided I would spend it on myself because I never spend any money on myself. I'm going to put them there to one side. So there we go. It's not perfect. It's not far off though. I think I might trim those big pages down. When I do them for the book. But there you go. That's it done. I got a load of stuff from a swap, so we'll start putting things like that in. We'll start working in that. But that's how you turn a booklet into a book. I've got one more thing because I want to strengthen it. So if you notice on this, what I've done to strengthen it is I got this is a printable from the Graphics Fairy, and that's from the party pack from Junk Journal July, and then I've sort of repeated it on the other side. And these are chipboard, so the when I say chipboard, really what I mean is cereal packet. So I have lots of ends from material samples. Let's get a few out. And they've got paper back in them, so they're already quite stiff. Oh, I might use some of this silky stuff because this is... So this is like when I made this journal, this is the piece that I took the... So it's 100% silk. Insane, and some of these were like I said, they were £150 a metre, which is just insanity. Oh, I like that. The ticking. I might use the ticking. I think the ticking will work. But I've got all these, so I've got all these ends. That we can use. I don't think it matters really what it is that we use, but we're just gonna. No, I think that's a bit. I don't think we'll use that. That's a bit insipid with it. I quite like that, you know. I quite like that too. See, I did put that away, but is it nicer when it's just a little bit? No. Oh, we've got the bright pink, the toile. Quite like the toile. You could have people on one and then like a bridge. I think we'll have the toile, which was the original one. But they're just sort of the ends. Go to like a shop that has like an interior design shop and ask for sample books. They're just so handy for if you're junk journaling or you're slow stitching. I made a really nice journal out of this material, actually, I remember. Oh, that's a nice place to cut that. And then I've got another little bit with a little man. We'll have him in the journal somehow. Oh, there we go, Charlie Boy. I'm still going to use my cereal packet to stiffen it because this is what's going to protect that. So strong bit, not that one, this one. Put that one away. And I talk to myself. You might have noticed that I talk to myself. I keep trying to tell myself not to mutter, but I do inevitably mutter. Yeah, I think this will work. Now let's go slightly underneath this. I do have some pinking shears, but I don't really want to blunt them on the card. I quite like the pinking sheerness. So, yeah. That's one side done. Oh, I like that. I like it a lot. Let's try and be a bit clever about this. And what we're going to do is make a pocket, basically. But a pocket that really strengthens the journal. So I'm actually going to put 2 videos up, because the other video was only, I think it's only like 6 minutes long, which is like the haul. Which I've not done that since Junk Journal July. I don't know. I might not. I don't know. We'll see how long this one is. If this one's really long, I might just put this one up and put the other one up tomorrow. Or the other way around. Okay. Let's do it. I think we need to trim that down. We could glue it and then trim it down. Well, let's trim it down. So we're just going to put a lot of glue on each side. So it's really going to stick well. The pocket, it doesn't have to be like very deep. You're not going to be putting anything in it for a while. Oh, I like it. Do we want that? I don't want that. I want that. Like that. Oh, look at that. That looks nice. Okay. Same thing on this side. Three sides. It's nice, that toile, to have something that's so traditional. It's like a French material, a toile, with like pastoral scenes on it. But in those vivid colours, I quite like it. That would have been nice, actually. Nice as a piece of interior design. There we go. It's nice and stiff now. just protect it a little bit like this. You know, once it's stiffened up, it's protected. So there we go. Make a booklet. Make a book from a booklet. There you go. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you soon. If you want to be in a chance to win an advent calendar packed full of homemade, bespoke made bits and pieces for slow stitch, and I mean like needle books, strawberry pincushions, mini junk journal, all of the ephemera and stuff that I've made on the channel. If you want to win one of those, just subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment down below. And each video you comment on during August, September, October will be classed as an entry ticket to the giveaway. So the more videos you comment on, the more chance you have of winning the advent calendar. But I will be putting some on my Etsy shop when I launch it too. Okay, thank you very much. I will see you soon. Bye bye.